Hello everyone, I'm Mango and this is just going to be a very short guide on how I used AI to make all of the b-roll for this specific project. I'm going to play the video for you guys right now.
Don't really see myself as like much of a creative person.
You're up, man. I've been up, fam.
I worked in customer service. I worked in a pub. Within the first week, it kind of blew up. I was getting 300 million views a month.
This is the campaign now. This is how you make the money.
It's not easy work, but it's simple work.
So all of the b-roll that you guys just saw was made using AI and I'm going to show you how exactly I did that. It was a very simple and short process, I'd say. So starting off, intent. So the thing is, I already had a pretty good idea of the shots I was going to use or the type of shots that I wanted from the AI itself. And one thing that I actually paid attention to was this subconscious association. If you guys paid attention to all of the scenes here, the AI model is wearing the exact same clothes as this guy
Creative
right here.
person.
Even though he's in different settings, even though he's washing dishes, he's wearing the exact same clothes. It basically just makes them use less brain power while they're going through these scenes, since they've already associated that the person being shown is this guy right here. Now that that is out of the way, let's head on to model choice. For all of the images in this project, I used Nano Banana 2, and for all of the videos, I used Kling. How do you know which AI model to use? Just test different models with the exact same prompt and stick with what you like. I would highly recommend sticking with 1 to 2 models for the entirety of a project to get the most consistent results. Moving on, the most important step of this process, correct your references. If you guys take a look here, I actually fed Nano Banana these 2 images and this is what it generated. This is the prompt I used. I basically just got Claude to describe this guy's appearance and this is what it generated. And now this image acted as my reference photo for literally all of these prompts. The reason why this is absolutely essential is because it basically makes it very easy for us to get consistent results across all of our generations. When it comes to prompting, I'm actually not the best at it. What I do is I have a base prompt with the grid, the framing, the subject, the setting, and a few keywords that basically give the entire generation this film look. So I'll paste the base prompt in Claude. I generate in grids. Now the reason why this is helpful is because you can get multiple images from one generation. I was experimenting with 3x3 grids, but what I found is 2x2 grids are much better because it gives a more consistent result. The AI is less likely to repeat angles and it's easier for it to extract specific frames. More on this later. Most of the time, the first prompt will barely work. So what I would recommend doing is once Claude has given you a prompt, I'll recommend testing it. And if you don't like the result, you can make changes manually, like change a few keywords, change the setting. And if the AI model consistently generates bad things or things that you don't want, like 2-3 times in a row, only then I'd recommend getting Claude to rewrite the entire prompt. And if doable, you can actually describe the exact issue you're facing with this prompt and ask Claude to fix it. I basically use Claude for all of my prompting. I'm not experienced with prompting at all, and I'm still able to make B-rolls that are basically indistinguishable from real footage. Before we actually go into the style keywords, I'll show you guys a quick example of my entire workflow from prompting to the image to turning it into video. Let's take this scene for example, this specific scene. So what I did was I already had a base prompt with the grid, the framing, the subject, the settings, and a few keywords. I told it to basically write me a prompt where the guy is in a pub to showcase him struggling, and this is what it generated. Now obviously this image does not show him struggling. So instead of making a few changes, I asked it to rewrite the prompt, and this is what it generated to showcase him struggling. And if you actually see the difference between these prompts, the main difference in the look came from these few words, these last few keywords: shallow depth of field, flat, neutral, desaturated tones. And if we take a look at this prompt, it has warm amber pub lighting, soft film grain. You get the idea. I did not like these angles. I explained my issue to Claude. I told it that I don't like these angles, change the angles. This is what it came up with. Before changing the prompt, I tried it one more time. This is what it came up with. I changed the prompt again. This is what it generated. Generated the image again. This is what it came up with. Pretty close to what I was looking for actually. but this looks AI generated. I wanted like a more natural angle to say, like something that you would see in a film. I did try playing around with these, but I didn't really like them because the video generation kept messing up, as you guys can see. So instead of just shooting in the dark, I decided to change my prompt and came up with this. Now this looks like a stock image. I told the AI the exact issue with this. I told it to make it look more cinematic, and this is what it came up with. Now this literally looks like it's straight out of a thriller movie, not even a movie like a Nike commercial. So obviously I had to change a few things. I told it I wanted like a desaturated tone, and this is what it came up with. This was the actual first result, and after making a few changes to the prompt, like I wanted more close-ups, this is what it generated. If you guys paid some attention, almost all of the scenes I used in this video were close-ups. You can't see the guy's face in any of the scenes. This was intentional because I just wanted to use the B-roll to paint a picture inside the viewer's head. And honestly, I think that is the best use case for generative AI because you guys can clearly see the results here. Anyways, for my process, once I've iterated and I've gotten a grid that I like and I feel like I can use, I download this image, use this as a reference image, and tell it to extract the frame I want. I want it to extract frame 1, the top left one. This is what it extracted. Then I would feed this frame into Kling, and I would write the simplest prompt ever. Just 1 or 2 lines. And only if it didn't work would I make changes to the prompt. I don't think I used Claude for any of the video prompts in this. Like, take a look at this. Simple as prompt, dude. Nothing complicated. And it was the same thing with basically all of these videos. Now, when it came to deciding which models to use, I was originally using Kling 2.6, but as you guys can see, it looks way too unnatural. And it looks like the guy is in slow motion, even though the video isn't. It was the same with this. And when I generated the exact same video with Kling 3.0, this was the result. Much, much better and much more realistic. For very quick natural movements, I feel like Kling is the best, especially Kling 3.0. But if you're looking for still frames or like slow movement, then you should probably use Kling 2.6. Now, when it comes to style keywords, this is absolutely crucial because it controls the entire look of your image or your video. I actually have a few style keywords that you guys can just steal from right here. For casual daylight images, let's say for like this kind of style, you guys can use these keywords. And for dark, like cold images or isolated images, you guys can use, and for like images like these, you guys can use something like this. And as for these few keywords, these are absolutely essential when it comes to giving your images that film look, to say. Just experiment with these. You guys can literally just copy all of these, try them with different models and see which ones you like. Also, something that I learned while working on this project specifically was what to not put in prompts. As I've typed here, telling the AI what to avoid can actually confuse it. So instead, you should almost always definitely only describe what you do want. So all of your prompts should be framed positively. Moving on, in order to sell the look, and when I talk about the look, I'm talking about this look, this desaturated look, or like this filmy look. It's actually pretty simple. The very first thing you need to ensure is that you're generating videos in 720p and not 1080p. If you guys take a look at all of these videos, they're all in 720p. And the reason for that is because it is easier for you to hide imperfections if you're generating videos in 720p. You guys can literally test it yourself. Generate the same video in 1080p and then generate it in 720p and notice the difference. The skin textures are better, the added grain makes a difference, and the contrast itself makes a noticeable difference. And something that I did to add on to this was I used an editing software to add more grain to this scene and to also take out some contrast and saturation. And that is all I did. And that was literally my entire process. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, only 7 steps. decide what type of shots you want, choose a model, get a corrected reference, use Claude for prompting, have a base prompt, make changes manually, only rewrite the entire prompt if you're not satisfied with the result after like 3 generations. Keep iterating until you like what the AI has generated. Use extremely simple prompts for videos, and always utilize style keywords. And last but not the least, low quality is actually better in this sense. And that is it. I hope you guys actually found this video useful, and if you did, make sure to hit the follow button and also tell me if I should upload this to YouTube. I'm wondering if I should. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye bye.